I am not at all a diesel guy. This is totally out my league. And I guess because I'm just intellectually lazy and I just refuse to want to know anything more about a diesel. But this is my brother's truck, and he bought it for like several thousand more than I paid for another business. Long story short, he needed AC fix. I can do air conditioning just like any other vehicle. Fix the AC. And when I go to test drive it, check-in light came on, it stalled on me a couple times. Pulled some codes. It was a p1211, and I think what's coming up now is a p1209. Those are related to the IPR. It's an injector pressure regulator, and that sits back there. We're going to get a good look at that. I'm gonna be honest. I went on YouTube, started Googling stuff, because unfortunately Identifix didn't really have much information. Well, I'll put it this way. It had a lot of case studies and information on how to test it and stuff, but as far as repair, I didn't find anything. But luckily the labor time on that was 1.4 hours. And I'm gonna give a guy a holler who video I looked at, and it helped me out tremendously. And I wound up going to Harbor Freight today and getting one of the tools needed. It was this right here, this shower valve socket wrench set. So I'm gonna give this a try. That way I ain't gotta spend any more money for a special tool that I'm just never gonna probably use, and I can just throw that somewhere. Harbor Freight had that for a low price of, I think it was like less than $15 or something. So I'm gonna use what he did and get that joker off with that. So I'm gonna let you hear it. See what we got going on, and then what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna look at the PID data last. I know some people like to complain about it, but I want to go ahead and get into it and get this replaced. I'm gonna let you hear it start up, then I'm gonna go over what I was experiencing before, and if anything, we'll know if anything changed. But this is the valve, the regulator here. This is a standard motor product from O'Reilly's. Y'all know it's my home store I patronize. That's the part number, PR315. And I looked at a couple other YouTube videos. Some of them didn't come with the magnetic device here. So this solenoid is not a monolith. It can be disassembled and assembled. So we're gonna disassemble it right here just to reverse engineer, because I don't know how this really work. Let's see if I can get a little rag here. I'll make a mess. So look like I'm gonna have to pull this off first, and I'll get a box end wrench for that. Then we have a sleeve here. And we have the magnetic component here. We could do a resistance test and see if this is compatible with the original equipment on there. And there's nothing else. So I have to put this in order. Like that. And we have this cover, and we have our oil seals. They're pre-lubed. It does have oil on it. So 1, 2. So like there's some type of, I thought it'll probably be a strainer or something in there. When we pull it out, we're going to take a look at it. And it wouldn't hurt us to do a resistance test on it. I'm not a big fan of resistance value testing because it's just so inconclusive. Now I will say on some of the case studies, some people claim that the nut, this back nut here that hold the magnetic portion on, fell off, and then it'll move around and it'll cause some issues. But briefly, what I was experiencing, again, the truck stalled. And I thought, I'm like, oh shit, is it related to AC? And I cut the AC off. I mean, it worked better, but it wasn't that. It was pulling the codes. The stalling symptoms were related to the injector pressure regulator, and it really lacked power. So one of the common fixes was to change the oil. So I did change the oil. This thing holds like 4 gallons of oil. That is crazy. Put 1540 Rotella in there, brand new filter. And today it seemed like it started up a little better. I did check the pressures. Again, we're going to go over the data stuff afterwards. Just giving you a brief rundown of what I was experiencing before we replaced the part. But it lacked power, didn't want to get up and go. It had a big turbo lag. And again, it stalled. So it stalled, slow startup. Well, let's start over. A very slow startup. Took about 4-5 seconds of startup, and lagged power, and it stalled. And then the data is supposed to go up to about 2,000 psi fuel pressure. It didn't do that. It went up to about 1,000 and fell off. Sometimes it spikes, so we'll see that later. Let me start up, and you can hear it, and we'll go from there. I'm not even gonna tell you no lie. It's starting up a lot better. I don't know if the oil had to circulate or whatever, but it's a night and day difference. Maybe it has to get hot before I act stupid again, but this is a big difference from when I was messing with it yesterday. And again, I changed the oil and it's got brand new oil and filter in there. Maybe it had to circulate real well. I don't know. But I'm just gonna change this part, look at some data, and then I'll go over some more stuff and compare it to what I've witnessed before versus what's currently going on now, and we'll go from there. It's a Garrett turbo. This thing's pretty massive. I'm going to Honda. So there it is down at the bottom, right down here. If I can get this hose out the way. I don't think I'm gonna get that hose out the way. I'm not going to take it off. I just don't want to take off too much. Stuff off just so I get a little bit more room. Do something just that I could expect it. Oh man, I can inspect this connector here. I don't feel. Oh, look, it is loose. That's probably why. I thought I checked it. No, the connector itself is loose. So that might be causing our problem. So luckily, the new one came with it. How do I get this connector off here? Oh, I don't like that. I don't want to put too much focus on recording because I don't want to screw anything up. This feel like, alright, it looked like I could, it's a 3/4, but I got a 19. Try this here. So that broke loose. that off. Off to the side. So we'll slide this off. So that sleeve came off. Slide the solenoid off. Allegedly, oil is supposed to come out of here, so I don't know. I might need to stuff this with rags or something. I don't know, but if it's sitting, so I'm gonna use the 1 5/32 side of it. Let's see, put this back here. Here. So I can use my own strength. Oh shit, nope. I'm gonna need a breaker bar. No. It's not gonna work. I need to get it in a better angle. Started to bend the rod it came with. I might need to see if I probably got like a socket or something that'll fit it, honestly. Let me see, I got plenty of axle nut sockets. I might get lucky. Oh shit. Alright, I got a 1 1/8 socket, so I'm gonna try this, see what happens. See if I can get my 1/4 inch, that's a 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch drive back here. Look like I got plenty of room to do it. I think I probably just no, it ain't gonna be deep enough. No, not deep enough to get back there. Alright, nice try though. It felt like I can get a wrench on there. Nope, wrench ain't going on there neither. Try this again, but I'm gonna use a screwdriver. Likely gonna be a higher quality steel, of course, than Harbor Freight. So let's see what happens with that. Put that on the right side here. Alright, we're on there. Flip it around. Plus, I have a little more leverage. Put a socket on here if I need to. But then again, I got this from Harbor Freight, so if I can put a socket on here. Now let me see my breaker bar. That ain't gonna fit. Oh. I'm even bending the screwdriver, or at least the tool's holding up. Screwdriver's just bending. Damn. I just need to cut a little bit. Oh, I'm gonna try this. Try something here. It seems like I can, because the hole for the socket is smaller. I think I should be able to put this in the drill press and open the hole as large as the shaft here, and I'll be able to get it through there and get enough square in the back of the socket just to be able to break it loose. So I should be fine. I don't need much, but I do need leverage, and then I'll be able to hit it, have a variety of positions I'll be able to get a better angle on. So I'm gonna do that. Alright, after what felt like an hour, hour's a long time screwing with one thing, I took my 1 1/8 socket and I bored the center. You can see down the center there, it looks larger, hopefully. You can probably see the difference. So what it is, I can now get the threaded end inside of there. And you can see it does go through inside the socket. But the main thing is, I can get the hex in, the socket in on the actual component and screw it off, and I still have a square end to where I can put the ratchet and get my leverage as I need. So if you have a drill press, which I tried first, that failed because I haven't changed the belt. One of the belts on there since I had it for like several years, and it's from Harbor Freight, so the belt needs to be replaced. I changed one belt just to change the other. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this done, because this kit here, I'm still gonna keep this. I was considering taking it back, but it's probably gonna serve some purpose one day in the future. Now I'll just keep it as some tools laying around. So let me just go ahead and get back over there and get this component pulled out. Here we go. Okay, damn, that was a lot easier. Whew. It was really easy. I just gotta get the rest of it off. It's broken loose. And I don't know if there's oil gushing out or anything. Don't look like it. No, it doesn't look like it. So here's the regulator. I kind of expected a little more though. I wonder. Not sure if it stopped up or what. We can still do a resistance value test and see what it says. Resistance. So we're gonna get a quick check of the temperatures here, and make sure these both are the same temperatures, 99 degrees, and the new one is 98.1. So they're both in the same temperature range. Resistance do change once temperature change. Let's see what we got here. These are both hooked. Both have a nut. I said nuts tight. They both have their retaining nut snug. So it's 11 ohms on the old one. Reverse them. (11 ohms, 10.9). So that's the old one, and we're going to do the same thing with the new one, just to see what we have here. 13, close to 12.8. So 11, it's 10, 9, 11, 12. So it's a 2 ohm difference. Yep, same thing, 12.8, 12.9. So one's 11, one's 13 basically. So it's a 2 ohm difference. All right, I'm gonna pull this off and get this installed in reverse order. Then we'll check the initial startup and see what happens. All right, everything's put back together. Went in smooth. As soon as I got that socket made, which took up, I honestly could have did 3 of these in the time it took me to make a socket, but I have one now. Hopefully I never have to do this again. But it's installed. Y'all are gonna witness me starting the truck up, see if it starts up faster or sooner, and I'm gonna look at scan data while it's starting up and see if there's any change in the conditions. then I'll just go over some comparisons of what I've noticed that was different, if anything changed at all. So all right, here's the live data with the new pressure sensor in here. New pressure regulator. I keep saying pressure sensor, but pressure regulator. Now, one big thing I didn't notice, the duty cycle. The injector pressure control regulator. The percentage is definitely lower, and the pressure is around 500. With the old one, let's go back. So this is, let me go back to all the new. So this is new. It was on 10 psi, 10% duty cycle, and we had 550 psi. Now this is doing cranking where it would spike. So I can just clear off the screen. It would spike, and then it would slowly just bleed off. Pressure is blue and green down here at the bottom. So at 30%, it was around 1,000 psi. Now, from what I understand, it was supposed to be at about 2,000 when it starts up. But I mean, I was looking at it with the new one in here, and it didn't seem like it achieved that. But it seemed like it was more responsive with revving. Again, I'm not a diesel mechanic, so I don't know how this is exactly supposed to work here. So we are technically shooting apart at it in a way. So 30% on with the old one, we hit 1100. This is at idle. Okay, and before that's with the valve with everything shut down. It was at 14 psi with everything just, I guess, static. So engine off, key on. So we're going to look at the key on, engine off. And I think I took this one while starting. I think I took that one while starting. This is 65% duty cycle while starting. So I guess it's something to note here. 65% duty cycle, and it's only making 584 psi. 45%, 600. That's off. And those are the plugs. Those are the codes that I had. It's been running for like 2 minutes, so since I shut it down and started back up and cleared the code, so we're going to see what that's doing. But let's go back to. I'm going to shut it down, and then we'll look at the values. So before it would be at 14%, and it would bleed off to about 40. I think I've seen it bleed off to as low as about 30 or so, but let me see what this. So yeah, it's so much lower than what it was before. I'll shut it down. Wow. I mean, it drops to zero. I mean, before it wouldn't do that. It would hold pressure. It wouldn't completely fall off. Cycle the key on and off. It's at 14 psi as it was before, but now the psi has dropped. It bled completely off, so it's not holding. Let me see what happened when I start up. I don't know if that hits 75% or not, or 65% command. I don't know. I'll probably need to graph that and see what happens. Just graph everything like I did before. To 0. So before, again, it was about 30 or 50 psi. I mean, it runs a little bit smoother than what it did before. Let me see if those codes came back. I know the glow plug code is, the glow lamp code is going to be in there. I think there's something wrong with the light. I think there's supposed to be like a alternator light, supposed to be a lamp in there. Or some type of indicator for the glow plugs. Okay, so we still, unfortunately, I still got that code coming up. Injector control pressure higher, lower than desired. And again, I'm no diesel guy, so this is pretty much, I think it's like kind of out of my league, but I'm going to take it on test drive because it definitely idles a lot better. I'm just going to see if it has some restored power and go from there. So if anything happened, I'll definitely update. This is just definitely my trial and error here. Alright, got back off my test drive. And I ain't gonna lie, I mean, it did fine, and it just later kind of felt like it started doing the same thing again. One thing I did notice, I think that 2000 psi only apply when you decel, I guess, because of duty cycle. These are the codes here: P0381, P1209, P1211. These are that came back. The same ones as before, and it's starting to kind of run poorly, like misfire. And it ran perfectly. It ran really good initially after I got the solenoid replaced and everything, but it just kind of reverted back to doing what it normally did. So when I was driving it, I did notice through here, I would accelerate, the duty cycle would increase, pressure would stay down. Then when I let off the accelerator, the pressure would spike up to about 2000 psi. The duty cycle would drop, and I guess it's because of the demand of the injectors. So I guess that it'll increase the pressure, but because the RPM is higher, I guess it'll accommodate with the pressures in case the demand is needed. I'd assume. This is just a conjecture. Then I would accelerate, pressure would go high, decel, duty cycle would tend to fall off, pressure would increase, and so on. So I mean, I'm not a diesel guy. I'm just gonna tell my brother, just take it to a shop and that does diesels, and they'll be able to get them straightened out. But I shot the parts I was gonna shoot at it, and fortunately, kind of like in the same boat. But we got the oil change, and we got a new solenoid on here. Let me see if the codes came back. I just don't have the equipment for diesels. I don't. I really don't. Let's see what came back, because I cleared it while I was driving, and yep, everything came back. Okay, cool. If once my brother take it somewhere and they actually fix it, then I'll be able to update the comment section, not a comment, but the description, and I'll let you know what happened. So, but if anything happened, I'll definitely update. But hit that link, subscribe to the channel, stay informed, head over to some work. See you next time.